Falcon and the Winter Soldier, actually titled New World Order. I had to. Welcome everyone to another episode of A World of Chaos. This is a pre-game episode for episode 1 of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series. I have been so excited to see this show ever since I first heard about it a few years ago. These are two characters I've been wanting to catch up with and wanting to see more of. I can't wait to see what they're going to do. I'm actually recording this a few minutes before the episode goes out. As you can see, I am tired. Kevin Feige and anybody at Marvel that just so happens to be watching this, hire me. Stop dropping these episodes at 3 a.m. It is so hard to stay awake or wake up for these. Drop them at like 7 p.m. EST on Friday. That would be cool. Whole family can get together and watch it because everybody hates the spoilers. You have to stay up to see it early, and I'm tired. But anyway, I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the show. If you haven't actually seen anything about it, giving you a little rundown on what you probably can expect from the series, from the trailers we've seen and the information we have so far. And after this, you will be seeing another video. You will be seeing my reactions to the first episode of the show. I am so excited. I hope I don't fall asleep on it. I'm tired. First, this series actually is going to be starring Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson, also known as the Falcon, and Sebastian Stan, also known as Sergeant James Buchanan Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier. If you're not familiar with the MCU, hi, how have you found me? Thank you. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel on YouTube, like the channel and like the video, and leave me a comment and let me know, what do you think is going to happen in this series? What are you looking forward to seeing? And give me a couple of your early theories on what you think might happen. Also, make sure you have liked the podcast and download the podcast on Anchor, Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. Also, don't forget, hit me up on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Same name, Team Chaos. So, this actual show will be one of the newer Disney Plus series that you'll be seeing. We have 3 that are scheduled for this year. This is the middle one. First one that we had was WandaVision, which I hope you actually caught up with my WandaVision episode recap of the series, and I hope you liked it. Make sure you like that video and leave me a comment. Next series after this one is going to be one focusing on Loki. That one actually comes in a few months. We're actually only about 2 weeks removed from WandaVision. After these 6 episodes go out, we will have about a 2-month wait until we actually see the next Marvel Cinematic Television experience, which will be in Loki's show. So, getting into it here on the pregame, I'm going to give you some information to get you up to date before you watch episode 1 of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. These episodes are actually going to be 45 to 55 minutes each. These are going to be longer than the episodes you saw in WandaVision, where I think the longest episodes you saw there were around 40 minutes. These will be on average about 45 to 55 minutes each, giving you a good hour-long take to actually really soak everything in. And there's probably going to be a lot of setup for things we're going to be seeing in future Marvel products. So I'm actually excited that we're getting some longer episodes. Next up, this actually takes place roughly 6 months after the Endgame film. So in all actuality, from what we found out, Spider-Man Far From Home actually takes place 8 months after Endgame. So that actually does take place the furthest we've seen in the timeline now for everything post Endgame, which is Spider-Man Far From Home, WandaVision, and now the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Another thing about this show, it actually started from an idea from Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan about them actually wanting to work together more because they had so much fun working with each other on the Avengers films and Captain America Civil War, which is an Avengers film. and they really love having fun with each other during the press junkets, which me as a fan, I really picked up on that during the Civil War promotions. They were always sitting next to each other. They would do interviews with each other, and they were really hilarious. And I believe there is actually something said about the scene in Civil War where you see Sam and Bucky in the car. That was really just Sebastian and Anthony riffing off each other, and the Russo brothers being comedic geniuses. Just put the camera and just let them riff for a little bit. And you got to see a little bit that when the Spider-Man introduction scene where he fights the Winter Soldier and Falcon, they did have some good banter and dialogue. So it does show that Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan really have great chemistry together. One of the original pitches from the head writer and showrunner for the show was based off of what Sebastian and Anthony had pitched, which was more of a buddy cop, 80s style, Lethal Weapon, 48 Hours type dynamic, which works really well with their two personalities, which actually would work well with their characters. And that actually seems to be, from what we've seen so far in the trailers, some of the basis of what we're going to see in this actual series. Next, this actually will be a continuation of a storyline you saw in Captain America Civil War, basing that the main villain, or one of the main antagonists that we will see in the series, has been confirmed to be Baron Zemo, Helmut Zemo, played again by Daniel Bruhl, who originated the role in Captain America Civil War. So it will be taking place in that same continuity, still all the MCU, but sometimes things can get confusing, especially if you're not watching absolutely everything. But you could technically go from watching Captain America Civil War directly to Falcon and the Winter Soldier and not miss too much information, as I'm gonna guess they're gonna give you a little bit of a recap and everything that happened with the snap, or the blip as they call it. It's a horrible name, horrible. Just call it the snap. We all call it the snap. Anyway. And lastly, this has been confirmed to lead into multiple MCU projects going forward, at least 3 that we heard from the director and the actors during a recent interview they had this past week. Now, they haven't confirmed which projects that will lead directly into. Just going to throw something out there. I think this will have some tie-in with the Black Widow film, even though that film is confirmed to take place between Civil War and Infinity War. I would imagine it would lead into that. The next projects we have coming up are going to be Loki. That's pretty much probably going to be a singular story, seeing as that it is more cosmic based. Then you do have Spider-Man No Way Home, which that is more of an Earth-based show, but it does take place technically 2 months from what we understand before this show. Then we do have the next big film, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which we do know we will see have fallout from WandaVision. Next up, we also have Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings and the Eternals. So multiple projects have been confirmed that this will lead into. I would like to see how they could possibly weave in the Marvel Cosmic Universe into this. So that'd actually be pretty interesting. But to know that it does have some fallout is going to be great. Also, it has been hinted that there could be a season 2. So a lot of storylines may not be resolved by the end of this, and they may not be resolved in any of the upcoming film projects. They may be saving that for a season 2. From what we've seen from the Marvel shows so far, just basing that off of WandaVision, I would love to see more multiple seasons of each show that they've already told us we're getting, and I wouldn't mind a few more. I'm personally looking forward to Secret Invasion and actually Armor Wars, which is actually going to star Don Cheadle as Rhodey, War Machine from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, who actually has been confirmed to be appearing in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So that is one of the future projects. They did say film projects, but it will be going into future projects. Armor Wars most likely being the next closest one. That's the pregame, baby. Now it's game time. We're in the game time now. I might use that. That was good. I'm proud of that. But what do you think? Do you guys actually want to see more tie-ins between these shows and the films? Did you like WandaVision? Are you excited for Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Let me know in the comments section below. If you're watching this on YouTube, again, make sure you're subscribed. Hit that bell icon to be notified when I drop more videos. I will be doing a weekly recap of Falcon and the Winter Soldier over the next few weeks, so make sure you're subscribed to see when that happens. Like this video so more people can see it, and leave me a comment and let me know some of your thoughts episode 1 of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Next video from me you will be seeing will be my recap and review and opinion on episode 1 of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, actually titled New World Order. I had to. On this episode, as the first episode of the series, it really did kick off a lot of what we can most likely expect throughout this series. We did get to see some shots that we did see in the the first couple trailers that we were able to see. I actually did enjoy the pace of the episode. I really did think that they needed to set themselves apart from what we've already seen now with WandaVision. WandaVision did start off very kooky. It was more of a sitcom. This is more of a action drama show. It did showcase a lot of what I was hoping to see, which is the great acting talent of Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan. I do think that they are truly great actors, and they really do a great job in the roles that they've had in the MCU, and it is great to actually now finally see them be able to showcase it, because they've pretty much been sidelined because they were secondary characters in the story of primarily Captain America or in an Avengers film. So this is really good slow burn type of feel to the show, so you can actually really get to know who these characters really are, especially in Falcon's case, because we really didn't get to know too much about him in the 8 years that he's been in this role, and the 5 films that we've seen him in. We really haven't seen too much of his real personality outside of dealing with Cap. So I'm not going to give you a complete breakdown of the synopsis. There are many other YouTube channels out there that are doing that. What I'm going to do is give you 5 things that I enjoyed about the show and give you my overall score and what I think that we can expect in the season going forward. So first things first, the episode is titled, like I said, New World Order. I do think that is apropos because this is one of the first instances we're seeing really post-snap outside of Far From Home and WandaVision. WandaVision, as it did primarily kind of take place in Wanda's Hex universe. We did get to see some people's reactions, primarily episode 4 with Monica Rambeau coming literally back from the snap, but it is good to see post-snap how more people are adjusting to either getting back to being alive or adjusting how the world has been in the 5 years of their absence. So it is good to see that. One thing that is pretty cool is that it is set place in a world where, even though things are completely different now, the world knows of Thanos and what happened, things still went on. And one of the major issues that is coming to light is Sam's sister, who was introduced in here along with his 2 nephews. She is struggling to keep her business up. Even though she was around after the snap, she's still struggling now, even post-snap, to pay her bills. Sam even tries to help her, and they actually go to apply for a bank loan. And it brings up a good place of being a Black person in America. Even if you're a superhero, you still can't get a bank loan in the world. So the guy that he actually goes to apply for the bank loan is a complete fanboy. He even takes selfies with him, asks him a bunch of questions, and still denies his bank loan because he doesn't have good collateral, even though Sam is a veteran. He is a veteran of the United States military even before he was an Avenger. That's even how he met Captain America. He worked at the VA, just volunteering. So it is kind of showing that even when you're a superhero, you're still a Black man in America and you can't get a bank loan. Next, we did switch over and see where the Winter Soldier is in this world. Bucky is actually going through therapy, and it is actually interesting to see a character like that finally able to really delve into the person he was for decades. Bucky says it later in the episode that he's around 104 years old, but he's really only lived until he was 30. For the last 80 years almost, he was a weapon of mass destruction from Hydra. This was a man that has killed countless people, who is, and as they said in Civil War and in Winter Soldier, he has shaped the course of the world. He is a true instrument of death, and he's now actually getting memories from past missions, from all of his memory wipes. So you start out with a great set piece, and one thing I've always loved about how they've done the Winter Soldier, they basically made him MCU's Terminator. The guy is relentless, he is unstopping, he is unwavering, and they showcase that in his first scene in the film, which turns out to be a dream or nightmare that he was having. You see that he actually has a friendship with an elderly man. They actually go out to a bar for lunch, and the old man kind of plays his wingman and hooks him up on a date with the waitress at the bar. So it was pretty cool to see that, and to see Bucky out of his element. I mean, this is a guy who literally was battling aliens, and he's nervous about asking a woman out, which is kind of funny. And then when you see how suave and how cool he was back in the 1940s, and Steve was the nerdy guy, it's kind of funny to see that right now that it's kind of apropos that he's now got the guy that really doesn't have that much confidence. Another thing that I did like about the episode, if you're a diehard MCU fan, there are little things that they peppered into there that kind of really cemented just how big this world is and how things really do just come back full circle. Is when Bucky wakes up from his nightmare, he's actually in his own apartment, but he's sleeping on the floor. And if you go back to when Sam first met Steve in The Winter Soldier, that was actually how their first conversation started. Is Steve, not too far coming back from the Avengers and being unthawed after 70 years, couldn't sleep in his bed because it was too soft. The bed that he had when he was in the 1930s and 40s is nowhere like the great mattresses we have now. But Steve has been a soldier for so long, he's used to sleeping out on the ground and just not used to those amenities. And same thing is happening with Bucky. He has a great apartment and he's still sleeping on his hardwood floor. It does show how all three of them are just soldiers, and it does actually show how they are connected. Another part that we saw with Bucky is he's actually going through amends and trying to cross people off his list, kind of Arrow style, about how he's trying to make amends for all the evil that he's done. And it was funny to see the book and see the writing. It did remind me again of Winter Soldier and the list that Steve had. If you don't even know anything about Captain America, the Winter Soldier, you've probably seen the gif of somebody saying, "I'll put it on the list." That's where that comes from. And continuing with Bucky, it was good to show that he does have a lot of guilt after everything he's done. This is going to be a spoiler for the episode. The old man that he actually struck up a friendship with, it turns out that Bucky murdered his son. The first set piece of the film that starts with Bucky, you see that he's going on some type of Hydra mission and kills a bunch of people. There's an innocent bystander who has nothing to do with it, who's just trying to get away from him, but is paralyzed by his fear and can't get into his hotel room. And Bucky just comes up and cold-blooded shoots him. Well, that's that man's son. And this is kind of Bucky's way of trying to make amends, but he still has no way to repay a debt that he can't repay. And that I do appreciate that. That is actually something I'll get into my next topic of the duality of these two characters. And that's something I did like, the duality of Sam and Bucky. Each one of their storylines could have been their own show. We could have had just a down and out family drama with Falcon occasionally going on superhero missions, but learning how to be a better brother, uncle, a superhero, possibly taking up the mantle of Captain America, and being a black man in America still. So that would have been a great series on its own. Then you have Bucky guy that is a former assassin that had no control over what he was doing, but still has the memories and the feeling of being a mass murderer and completely cold-blooded, trying to reintegrate himself into society and find out who he is and how he fits into the world. I think that would make a great series. And the fact that we have both of those together, I think is really going to set this series apart and be probably a benchmark for the Marvel Cinematic Television universe. Lastly, the big theme of the episode for Sam, at least, is should he have taken up the mantle of Captain America? Does the world need Captain America? And how does he fit into it? The fact that Steve bequeathed him the shield and named him his successor in a role that he honestly wasn't ready for and still doesn't know if he wants to accept. You see that America has now turned about and now does want a Captain America, and they did not consult Sam at all. The end of the episode has John Walker, who you would know in the comic books as the U.S. agent, come out as the new Captain America with Steve's shield. And I gotta admit, it kind of just pissed me off seeing somebody else have that shield. I mean, it's like, you don't deserve that. That's not yours. So that was good. It was a good way to end the first episode. If I'm ranking this episode versus WandaVision's, they are two completely different type of shows. I will say I kind of enjoyed WandaVision a little more because I had no idea where that was going. This one, I kind of knew some of the beats of what we're probably going for because I've seen so much television and movies, but nothing against Falcon and Winter Soldier. I did enjoy the fact that it was a slow burn. It did start out with amazing action set piece with Falcon on a mission to retrieve a witness that actually ties back into the Winter Soldier because you had former UFC champion George St. Pierre as Batroc the Leaper, reprising his role from Captain America the Winter Soldier. If you're familiar with that, but you're not too familiar with him, that is the guy that Captain America fought on the boat in the first action piece of the Winter Soldier. His character did return with the same actor, UFC legend. So it was cool to see that type of continuity come back. That was an amazing action set piece. If this was any other property, the beginning of this episode would have been the absolute climax of an action movie, and it would have been an amazing action movie because it would have ended on that. This episode in this series starts off with an amazing set piece of showing off Falcon's actual abilities, showing that he is a completely capable fighter and he is formidable because this guy's taking on multiple assailants by himself who are in helicopters. He's taking on multiple Black Hawk helicopters with missiles, with turret guns, all by himself. And it was really fun. And there you have it, folks. We got one episode in the books. I am really looking forward to seeing what we're gonna be up for in the rest of the episodes of the season. This is episode 1 down. We have 5 more to go. Hopefully you are subscribed to this YouTube channel. Hopefully you're following the podcast. If not, here's all that information and good stuff again. If you're on YouTube, it's Team Chaos. If you're on Instagram, it's Team Chaos. If you're on Twitter, Team Chaos. And if you're on Facebook, it's Team Chaos. Also, you can find the podcast A World of Chaos on Anchor, Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. If you're not sure where you can find this podcast, go look on Anchor and they will let you know where you can find it at. Make sure you are subscribed, hit that bell icon so you'll know when I drop my next video reviewing this series. And you can find all the other videos I have on this channel, and you find that link somewhere around here. Thank you for watching. I've been Chaos. You've been awesome. Live responsibly.